Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get into the Word of God. Let's continue our series on the parables of Jesus and our little mini-series on the parable of the sower. So let's go to Matthew chapter number 13, and we're going to start with verse number 3. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, and because they had no deepness of earth, and when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. Here's where we're going to focus on today, starting with just verse number 7. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. The thorns sprung up and choked them. Let's skip down to verse 22, where Jesus explains what that means. Verse 22 says, He also that receives seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. Look at the choice of words that God uses here. Unfruitful. You know what that means? That means God expects us to be fruitful. And what exactly does it mean to be fruitful? It means to win souls. It means to win souls. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that winneth souls is wise. Our purpose here on this temporary life, and really temporary earth, because someday God's going to make a new earth, new heaven, is to win souls. We are to bear fruit. Okay? And when we do not bear fruit, when we are not fruitful, we're wasting our lives here. Because everything that we have here on earth is temporary and frankly useless. It's just a means to an end, but no real value, no eternal value except souls. And Paul even said, I count all things but dung. You know what dung is, right? Dung is feces. It's human waste. He said, I count all things. You know, the same things that the world values so much. Money, big houses, fancy cars, things. Paul said, I count all things but dung. And someday, when we stand before God, are we really going to stand before God and say, but God, didn't you see the high numbers on my bank account? I was able to squirrel away a lot of money. And then didn't you see my house? Didn't you see my beautiful dung house? That's like a 7-bedroom dung house. 7 bedroom, 6 bath. I mean, that is the most beautiful piece of dung you will ever see. That's how God sees it when we obsess over the things of this world. It's ridiculous. The real value is in souls. And look at the things that choke up the word. Remember, when Jesus is telling this parable of the sower that's sowing seeds, the seed represents the word of God. So every time the word of God is sown, God expects fruit, souls, right? That's supposed to be the result. And the things that choke up the word of God, that get us distracted from the word of God. Let's read again what he says. The care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches Those are the two deadliest things spiritually for the Christian. The care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches. Look at how many quote unquote Christian ministers, worship leaders, musicians, whatever you want to call them, these supposed Christian leaders who became famous and rich off of the name of Christ, and then all of a sudden they're no longer Christians. There's many. All of a sudden they come out of the closet, no longer believe in the Bible, no longer, their faith is shaken. The things of this world, the cares of this world, it chokes them up. The deceitfulness of riches. Don't get distracted by the thorns and the thistles of this world that are trying to choke out the word of God. Stay focused. Stay focused on the word of God. So that, why? So that we can have bigger dung houses? No. So that we can be fruitful. Be a soul winner. Get into the word of God so we can be more effective at being fruitful and bringing souls to Christ. Thank you so much for joining me today. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.